In this video, I want to go through how to actually hit your goals finally in 2024. Now, the reason I'm doing this video is because there's so much crazy content out there on goal setting, and a lot of the stuff is just a lot of hype. And I don't really know if what a lot of these gurus are talking about actually makes sense. And I know you're probably thinking, well, why are you doing a goal setting video? You're just another talking head on YouTube. What I want to talk about though is what I've discovered actually works, rather than someone berating you and going, you should be doing this, you should be doing this. This is what I've actually found works in about 3 to 4 steps. On a fundamental level, you need to understand that every human being has standards. So if my standard was to drive a Mercedes, I would do everything that it took to get there and then stay there. So inside of us is some sort of thermometer that really is what defines or what determines what our actions are. If we think it's normal to be at like 3K a month, then we will do the behaviors of someone who's at 3K per month. If we think 50K per month is normal, we will do the behaviors of someone who's at 50K per month. And so what that comes down to is identity. Now, I don't know if there is a practical step-by-step way to make yourself have an identity of someone that wants to get to 100K or per month, or $1 million per month, or $3 million per month, whatever the goal is. I think what it comes down to is, do you have the intrinsic motivation to get to a certain level? Now, there are two main forces which influence human behavior. There's running away from something, so fear of something, and then running towards something. Now, a part of fear is disgust. So I remember when I reached a point when I was so sick of the crappy car that I was driving, I didn't care how painful or how frustrating or how long it took for me to get to like 20K per month. I would do anything to get there because I just could not drive that car again. Now, that's an important point, because you need to reach a point in your own journey and in your own thinking where you really just go, you know what? I am so sick of driving this shitty car. I'm so sick of working this shitty job that you are willing to trade everything to get there, right? So if you need to empty your bank account, if you need to go into debt, if you need to do all of these things to get there, you need to pay the price. And that goes to a really good quote by a guy called William Shoaff. I think his name was William Shoaff, who Jim Rohn talks about, where if you want to succeed, basically what you need to do is determine where you want to go and be willing to pay the price to get there. So the price looks like time, work, capital, effort, money. I've already said money, attention, sacrifice. So it means letting go of some relationships which don't serve that purpose. It means getting rid of some habits which don't actually contribute to that goal. It means being very intentional with where you spend your time. So let me recap. The first thing you need to have is an intrinsic motivation to get to a level. And then you need to reach a point of, I think, disgust, where you will no longer tolerate where you're at. So one of my clients I have worked with extensively for about a year, and I've had to tell him that certain behaviors that he has, he needs to never do those behaviors again if he wants to move to the level that he wants to get to. Now, for personal reasons and for privacy reasons, I'm not going to share what those things are, but as an adult male, I said to him, you cannot do these behaviors anymore. So if you really want to get to a certain level, you need to be effing ruthless. You need to cut out the crap, and you need to, number one, have that intrinsic desire, and then number two, be willing to pay the price. Now, be willing to pay the price means you're not going to be a baby. It means you're not going to complain. It means you're not going to blame other people. It means you will take 110% responsibility for where you want to go. If a bill is too high to get coaching, pay it. If a bill is too high to pay for ads, pay it. If a bill is too high to buy a subscription, pay it. Don't be a baby. So that's harsh, but it's facts. You know, people who know what it takes to get next level, they have balls of steel, and they're the level of stuff that people risk to get to the next level is the price that it is the cost. It's the cost. So, and it's painful. It's always painful stretching to that next level. But the reward of that pain is a lifetime of consistent income, being a person who can generate income and being a person who can create generational wealth for years to come. So, that what I just said to you is very important. And, in a nutshell, that's called normalization. Okay, so now once you've reached that level of disgust and desire, what you need to do is determine, what do I want? So determine, what do I want? Now, if you don't know what you want, write down what you don't want. I don't want to work at this job anymore. I don't want to drive a crap car. I don't want to eat crap. So therefore, I want to do this, this, and this. So if you don't want to do something, then that will create what you do want to do. You need to define what you want to do. Now, here's a really important thing, is you need to write down those goals when you wake up and when you go to sleep. Now, what that will do is it'll bring it back to your mind. It will put in your mind the seeds, and your mind will start coming up with different strategies to actually achieve that goal. If you forget about the goal and you put it to the wayside, your mind will stop working. So it's important to keep that front of mind by just writing down those goals. So that is something I learned from Grant Cardone, and it's legit. If you keep it top of mind, that's super, super important. So once you've defined what your goals are, you need to bring those and bolt those goals down into daily action items. So you need to bolt those things down into daily action items. So for instance, if I wanted to save 100K in my bank, I need to figure out what my savings rate will be. So let's say I save 20% of all my income. If I want to save 100 grand and, say I've got an empty bank account and my turnover's $1 million a year, I 100% need to save 10% of my income, 100%, to get to that 100K. So then you break it down to like a monthly level. So if I'm saving 100K, you divide it by 12, which I think is like 8.3 or something, or 8.6 or something like that. So therefore, I need to save like about $9,000 a month. If I can save $9,000 a month, I can get to $100,000. And then you break that down to a weekly or a daily. And then you figure out, okay, if I'm not at the revenue level where I can afford to save $9,000 a month, what do I need to do to get there? I obviously need to earn more. I need to get more sales. I need to have a higher skill level to be able to get those sales. And I need to get better at sales. I need to learn how to set more appointments. I need to learn how to generate more leads. So you can always attribute it back to really what it comes down to. The first step is always your desire. The second step is usually having a skill set that is valuable. The third step is being able to convert that skill set into attention. So you get attention that, hey, I can do this for you. And then you need to be able to convert that attention into cash in the bank. If you can take those 4 steps, which is desire, skill, attention, and then conversion, you'll be able to generate the revenue that you need to get there. So that's an example. You need to bring it down to a daily level, okay? So let's recap. So we've got the desire discussed. We've got the ultimate goal that you want to get to. We've extrapolated that you need to bring it down to a daily level. Now, the last thing that you need to do is you need to figure out how you work so that you can execute properly. So people join programs or people join a gym and they don't go to the gym every day. Why? They set out at the beginning of the year, January 2024, I'm going to join the gym every day, and they don't end up doing it. Now, there's a few reasons why. The first thing is environment. Now, this is probably the most important thing. You need to situate yourself in an environment that promotes you executing on your daily goals, on your daily tasks that lead to your goal. I'm going to say this again because this is a quotable. You need to get yourself into an environment that promotes you executing on the daily tasks that gets you to your goal. So that could be in a community of agency owners. That could be in a community of sales reps. That could be in a community of business owners. Whatever the case may be, you need to get into an environment. It could be a different city, a different apartment, getting away from some friends that smoke weed, getting away from some friends who don't run businesses, because people who don't run businesses have an employee mindset. I know it sounds corny as hell if you're not a business owner. You think, but it's actually a thing. It's actually a thing. You think differently if you're a business owner. It is what it is. Okay, don't be offended. Don't get butthurt. But it's facts. You need to get yourself into an environment that promotes that. Okay. Now the second thing is you need accountability. There needs to be some sort of tangible skin in the game, that if you don't achieve this or if you don't do this, there will be repercussions, right? So if you have to pay, $10,000 a month to use a gym, you are freaking going to use that gym. If you pay $1 for that gym, you don't give a shit because you're not going to use it. You've only spent $1. So isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? That's why I buy stupidly expensive stuff for work. Like I bought these AirPods, right? These are dumb expensive. These are a dumb purchase. But what these do is it forces me to use them so I work more productively, even though they're stupidly expensive, because I know I care about, because I've spent that much on them, I'm going to use them. That's my personality. And that's most people. If you spend the money on something, you're going to try and extract as much value out of it. So that's just one example of making sure that you've got skin in the game. Now it needs to be real. So another way is to have an accountability partner. If you have somebody that you genuinely respect and you say to them, hey, let's go to the gym every day and let's keep each other accountable. And if I don't hit this goal, there's some sort of tangible negative, you are going to do it, right? So that is also there's a negative force that you can implement to actually do the things that you need to do, right? Because the thing is, like when you eat sugar, you don't instantly get fat, but everyone would stop eating sugar if they ate it and they instantly got fat. So what you need to try and do is bridge that gap between the negative outcomes of a behavior or the positive outcomes of a behavior and create a level of accountability around your execution. So that's the first thing, environment, accountability. Now, the last thing is to do what you have to do, right? So if you have to buy like a really nice coffee to do your dials and do them in a cafe, then do it. Because if you don't buy the nice coffee and you're not motivated to do the dials, then you're not going to get the appointments coming through. You're not going to get the sales coming through. If you need to wear like a certain hoodie, if you need to do, so this is the real nitty gritty practical stuff. Like if you need to do those things to actually do what you need to do, then just do them. Don't try and penny pinch and be like, I don't want to spend money on this. Don't be a baby. Like to grow a business, it costs money. You have to pay the price, and sometimes it's expensive and it hurts and it doesn't feel comfortable. It's not going to be super comfortable. And this is, I reckon this is the root reason why people don't achieve their goals, is because it's uncomfortable. People are not willing to give up their comfort even for a season to get to where they want to go. So I guess if you can internalize the fact that you're not going to be uncomfortable forever, and if you are willing to endure a season of being uncomfortable to ultimately achieve the goals that you want, then that's what it takes. If it means spending too much on a coaching program, if it means overspending on your Facebook ads, if it means getting accountability partner, if it means getting rid of some stupid relationships, if it means breaking habits that you really rely upon and make you feel comfortable, if it means being disciplined every day and not bullshitting. I'm getting right up here. So you know, I'm going to end the video there. Hopefully that makes sense. It comes down to, are you willing to pay the price? It comes down to that Shove quote. I think his name's William Shove, where determine what you need to do or where you want to go and be willing to pay the price to get there. And if you're willing to pay the price and you keep going at it, even after failure, setback, we had one of our guys, he took 30 sales calls and didn't get one close. I'll say it again. Sorry, he got 24 sales calls, 24 sales calls, did not get one close. That's rough. But on his 25th sales call, he got a close. And then after that, he closed a 20% closing rate, which is decent for agency. So anyway, guys, that is my video for today. Hopefully that makes sense, and I'll speak to you soon.